Welcome to Cruise Kibitz, where we give you all the advice that you didn't ask for.
Hello, and welcome everybody to another episode of Cruise Kibitz. I'm Cheryl, also known as Big Cruiser.
I'm Kiki from Team Reese Travels.
And I am Siobhan from Parker's on the Go.
And together we are known as Cruise Kibitz. Well, ladies, I guess I can't pull up a surprise because they're already on the screen, but for those listening, hey, we have a surprise guest today. So today we have the pleasure of interviewing Cooking with the Catrons.
Hey everybody.
Hey.
So we are excited to have you today, and let me tell you for this interview. Now, I will tell you to start off that I'm the one in the group that has the gluten allergy, so I was kind of worried. I usually don't watch cooking channels, but when I subscribed and I started watching your channel and I started seeing things that I could eat, and just some of the things you have on there, some of the foods that you have on there, the dishes, and it actually makes me want to cook. I'm not a cook, but we'll get into that a little bit more. I want to hear about some of the offerings that you would have for me. But in the meantime, so if you could introduce yourself and the name of your channel and kind of explain a little bit about the background and history of your channel.
So I'm Stacy.
I'm Donovan.
And we are Cooking with the Catrons. We started out I started the channel, and I started out doing like mom and me vlogs and like informational type videos on having kids and babies, and because I had just had my son, so I had started a blog. And so from the blog, I was like, well, maybe I can make videos to kind of go along with the blog. And so that's kind of how I started out. But then we slowly started incorporating more like family vlogs and like travel type vlogs.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just us as a family doing different things. And then you tell the other part, because I don't know how it turned into cooking.
Yeah, so
I still don't know.
I don't know. When we first started out, my camera presence was absolute trash, guys. And you could basically just give me a script, and that's really what I needed as I was, matriculating into the YouTube streets, as they say. But from there, I don't know, we just started thinking about different things that we could bring to our channel and incorporate in. And I just had this burning desire to do a seafood boil, because it's like, all right, this is something that I really, really enjoy. We often eat them out, and we tried it. And at that time, and I think even now, for a little bit now, that was our best video. And it's like, okay, maybe we have something here. Maybe we got something. And so we did a couple more, and it just turned out that our audience that we originally thought was a mommy and me audience, and then a lifestyle travel type audience, the food dishes that we created really, really resonated with our audience. And so that's kind of how we incorporated more and more cooking onto our channel, and ultimately changed from what were our two genres, if you will, into the cooking field, and where we've been ever since.
All right.
Cheryl, our friend Angel will be like, hey, give the people what they want. So that's
Give people what they want, baby.
Exactly. And I would tell you now, one thing, Cruise Kibitz, we're familiar with food, because when we go on cruises, apparently we have lunches and pre-lunches and, breakfast, pre-breakfast, and all of that. So
You gotta get all of them in. You can leave nothing on the table.
So I know that you guys kind of transitioned into a little of travel and lifestyle content for a while too. I heard about that in your history a little bit. When you are recreating dishes now, do you ever take anything that you learn at any of those travel destinations and incorporate those into the dishes that you prepare?
Yeah. So a very recent example of that is when we went on the cruise. Did we go to Mashula before the cruise or no?
Cannot remember.
Well, we went to Philadelphia and went to this restaurant called Mashulu, and there they had lobster bisque, and we tried it. I think that was like one of our first times trying lobster bisque, really, and knowing what we're doing. And it was so good. And so we're like, okay, we're going to kind of add this to the list of things, we like to try at different places. And then when we were on the cruise, we also had the lobster bisque at the steakhouse. When we were on the Carnival Conquest, it was phenomenal there as well. So we're like, maybe this is just a really good dish. So we need to try and make this ourselves. So we can stop buying it at restaurants. So we actually did do it. It hasn't even dropped yet. So you've heard it here first. We will be dropping a lobster bisque video on Friday. It's just like little things like that where we're trying it over and over again. And we're like, okay, instead of buying it at a restaurant, let's just try it, make it at home for ourselves. So
for sure. And not only, make it for ourselves, but let's also figure out ways to make it easy. And that's like a really, really, really big thing for our channel. And if you are viewers of our channel, you'll know that we often say super easy, super simple. And that is where we just painstakingly go out of our way to try and make the dishes as easy as we possibly can. Really, really easy to find a recipe, create a recipe, stick to a recipe, that type thing. But just trying to make really, really helpful content in terms of food and just making it super easy, super simple.
That's awesome. Look, as somebody that's always running and on the go and always got something to do, I appreciate an easy recipe. Something I can just whip up real quick and get to the next thing I got to do. So,
and I will say that was one of the things when I was going through the vlogs that you were making that point of making it simple and making it easy, and that drew me in, because when I see a recipe that's overcomplicated and you have to have all these different ingredients, stuff that I'm probably only going to use once, so that kind of frustrates me, and it makes me not want to cook. But like I said, looking at your channel, it makes me want to try different things because they are, so easy. They look, fairly easy, and it always looks so good.
Thank you.
I guess my question would be, because I grew up as a latchkey kid, right? So, mom's working and you're at school and you got to make sure sister eats and you got to take care of the household. And so I grew up thinking I could cook, right? Because I had to cook at a young age. Yeah. So I guess my question would be, when did you guys start cooking, or what was the turning point for you where you just knew this was something that you guys were good at? So was it something that you started when you were younger, or you just like, I don't want to buy all this food anymore. Let me see if I can actually do this thing called cooking.
So I'll actually take that one first. For me, my big thing growing up, even really in grade school, was baking. I love to bake, and shoot, even when I met Miss Stacy, I was baking, and it didn't matter what it was. I could find a recipe for it. I could tweak a recipe. I could doctor up a box cake into just making it feel homemade by adding in, butter and evaporated milk instead of, say, just milk. Just different things, using brown sugar instead of regular sugar. So again, putting a little extra oomph in there. And just going straight from scratch, pecan pies, pound cakes, sweet potato pies. Like, baking was really my thing.
And you baked with your grandmother?
I did. So I baked with my grandmother. She more so did the baking and just popped my hand a lot. But then from there, like that, it just opened up a lane of creativity for me that I didn't necessarily have with just regular school or sports or anything like that. It brought something different to the table for me.
Yeah, for me, we talk about this all the time because it's kind of like a full circle moment. Like when I had to be, I don't know, maybe 5th, 6th grade. I would come home from school and watch Food Network. Like that was my thing. I would just sit at home, watch different cooking shows, yeah. Rachel Ray, Emeril Lagasse, and I don't know why. Like, it's not that I cook so much or anything. I just liked watching cooking. Like, I don't know why. And so that kind of started my love for cooking and for the science behind cooking. Like, cooking is it's very interesting how you can put different flavors together and make it make sense. And so that was the start of it. Obviously, as I got older, I just started cooking for myself. And like in high school, I would cook for myself, and it would be like these amazing meals. And my mom would be like, "So why didn't you make it for anybody else?" And I'm like, "I didn't know. Come out this." I was just throwing some stuff together and seeing what worked. So yeah, and then from there, just kind of built on itself. But I never would have thought I would have a cooking channel, like ever. Like, that was never even like a thought. But yeah, it's just kind of built over the years, and now that we're like head first into it, we definitely have broadened our horizon in what can be done as far as cooking. So
yeah, it's amazing because we were watching some of your videos, and my daughter was here, and she was just watching you and Donovan, and she was saying, "Well, how do they know the measurements?" I was like, I used to ask my grandma, like speaking of cooking with your grandma, I used to ask her stuff like that all the time and call her, ask her for recipes. And she was like, "Girl, I don't know, I just dumped it in there." So I was like, "Oh, so you love pot cooking, right?" Okay, so now I really got to watch you to see how you actually do this thing. So then I had to start paying attention because, back in the day, you cooked the taste. You didn't cook to recipes.
Right.
So if you could tell us now, what are your favorite cruise dishes, and tell us how they represent the essence of cruising or cruise travel cuisine.
Yeah. So the first thing I would say, anytime we're traveling, we really like to try some type of like steakhouse. That's usually kind of the base of whether or not the food is good at a place. And so I think when I think of like a cruise, I think of like a nice steakhouse, trying some different things from different foods from different cultures and that type of thing. So a really good steak is what I think of when I think of cruising, or any type of like luxury travel type of thing.
When I think of cruising, and when you talk to people about cruising, hey, I'm going on a cruise or anything like that, people talk about food in a very general sense. Like, well, yeah, that there's going to be, just food all the time. And they kind of get hung up on the buffets, as well as the fact that you can eat 24 hours a day. You just better be careful because when I went on a cruise, I such and such and such and such. I gained weight or whatever. So when I think about just a cruise in general, I do think about the abundance of food, and the prevalence of food, and the fact that you can get room service, food all the time, that type thing is kind of what comes to mind for me. So very fast fares, be it the burgers or the pizzas, or really the buffets that you can go through and get as much as you want. That's kind of, in my mind, what I associate with cruising and with cruise food.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting you bring that up too, because the differences between just the buffet or the main dining and that kind of thing versus the steakhouse or other like specialty spots like the seafood. I forgot what the seafood place is called on Carnival, but I feel like if you went, like say the Carnival Conquest, for example, just because we were on that ship together, I feel like if you went on there and you only ate the buffet and the main dining versus somebody that went on there and only ate at the steakhouse and the specialty spot all day, all long, I feel like you would have completely different food experiences.
Absolutely.
I was going to ask, do y'all feel the same way? Do y'all feel like there was major differences between the two? Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I think, and I don't want to jump to any questions you might have, but on the ship we were on together, like, I feel like the paid food was the best and the food that came with the cruise was the worst. So
it was so
like, definitely there was a big discrepancy.
For sure.
in the
leaps and bounds different, guys. Yeah. Leaps and bounds different.
Which is sad because, people who aren't trying to spend a lot of money on a cruise, they may not want to pay for the steakhouse or pay for the chef's table or anything like that. They might just want to eat at the buffet or the main dining, and you're not giving them options that they can really choose from. Like, you have to pay in order to get good food, and that's ridiculous.
Especially if we think about the previous question, when you think about the sheer essence of cruising, the overabundance of food, and it's always available, and it's really, really good, fresh fruit, fresh this, and for that to not be the case, it's a huge letdown, especially if you try both. That there is a stark difference in the two.
Yeah, And because that's the selling point, right? There's all this food available, and it's all already paid for when you get there. Like that's the way to take purpose. And it make you wonder, like, are y'all doing this on purpose? Like y'all want more people to buy this specialty food? Because my wheels be spinning. Like I think y'all up to something.
Can you share a memorable travel food experience that has influenced your taste bud or inspired you to try new dishes?
Yeah. So there's a lot of them, but one I can think of is we tried Nobu for the first time. Well, actually, the first time we went, we didn't have caviar, but so we went to Nobu in Miami and we had the caviar, and that was our first time having caviar. And that just completely opened my mind to like these luxury dishes that you hear about all the time, but you've never actually tried it. And it was absolutely delicious. It was phenomenal. And I was like, oh, okay, this is why they paid $300 for a little can like this. That makes a lot of sense. So I think that was one thing that sticks out to me as like a memorable experience that kind of opened my mind to some of these really unique dishes that you've never really tried, and that you just think are out of your wheelhouse or aren't actually good. They just make them sound good.
Right.
But I actually really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, I remember, I think I was maybe in high school, and I don't remember what state I was in, but that was my first time we were at a Japanese restaurant, and I basically tried like the chef's choice. So they brought out everything, man, from octopus to squid, raw this, raw that, and it was just not something that I was accustomed to at the time. But I pressed myself to be outside of my comfort zone. There were some things that I really, really did not like, guys. But other things that were delicious to me and things that I would have never tried, and I was scared that I was gonna like grow seafood in my stomach. You know how it goes.
Right. The things my parents tell you, man.
Hey, but I lived though. I lived.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Is there any food that's just like off limits for you guys that you just will not try? Forget it. I'm not doing it.
I think the only thing for me is like bugs. Like some that's like delicacies in some countries, like chocolate covered roaches and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I just can't put a bug in my mouth. I just can't. the only I guess kind of bug was like snails, like escargot. I've tried before and it was okay, but I think bugs are the only thing that's like or worms and stuff.
I don't think that there is very much that I wouldn't try, unless there's like an imminent like health risk to it, like puffer fish or something like that, to where if someone
50% chance you might die.
Correct, somebody didn't prepare quickly, like your life is in danger. Other than that, I think I'm pretty open. Will I eat the whole thing or take a big bite? Maybe not. But I think I'm fairly open, guys, like to try just about anything.
Yeah. I'm with you, Stacey. I'm not eating bugs. That's on my no-go list. I'm not doing it.
The way my mouth set up, it just won't.
You ain't never have a caterpillar a little bit when you was little.
I didn't know it.
You see people go on Virgin and they have that restaurant on there. Everybody goes and you see them eating. I don't know if it's, what is it? It's not. I was about to say cockroaches. I know it ain't cockroaches. It's gotta be like crickets.
Yeah. I'm good. If they tried to serve me one, I was like, no, that's okay.
I would totally try it, guys.
Oh wow!
Oh my God. So now y'all got to get on the Virgin shit one day, just so we can.
Right. That's where I would love to see them sell, because Virgin's food is just such a wide variety and range of food. I would love to see their review on Virgin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Have you guys sailed any other cruise lines besides Carnival?
Royal Caribbean.
Royal. Okay. Yeah. What was your food experience like on there? Was it pretty comparable, you think, to Carnival, or?
So when we went on Royal, this was for our honeymoon, and We've been married for 8 years now, so that
Okay.
was about 8 years ago. So I can't really remember
Oh, it's been a
it,
little while.
but I don't remember it being bad though. Like I don't
Yeah.
remember being like, "Oh, that food was trash."
Yeah.
So I'm guessing it must have been pretty good.
I was gonna ask, because earlier you said you tried the steak houses on the ship, so I was going to ask about the Royal Steakhouse versus the Carnival Steakhouse, but no memories.
I don't remember.
Food at all. And a lot of the stuff we do was like before we had like an actual like cooking food channel. So
Okay,
we weren't like trying to remember or,
Yeah.
we didn't put an emphasis on it. So
Mhm.
unless it was just super memorable that we
Right.
don't remember.
I can't hardly remember what I ate last week. So
Okay, I have a question, but I just thought of something because I'm curious about. I know people who are into cooking, and when they cruise and they get off at different ports, and they have to they're looking for a certain spice or something that's in a certain port. Do you have that, like certain ports that you go and you're looking for this certain spice from this certain port? Do you do that?
I wouldn't say we go looking for it, but I will say we do always try and get something that we can bring back and try at home. So last time when we went to the Bahamas, we got a seafood sauce and we got a jerk seasoning and sauce. So we definitely try to get something that represents that culture to try back at home. But I don't think we don't really like go looking for certain things. I mean, I would love to go to the Middle East where they have tons of different spices and things like that. So, I would love to do that one day, but there's not like a specific place or anything.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Well, let me go on to ladies. Did you have another question? If not, I have more.
go for it, sure.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Okay. So I will ask. So, how do you incorporate local flavors and ingredients from the destinations that you visit, or in your cooking or your food choices?
Got it. So local flavors for us, for me, the local flavors create a baseline more or less wherever we visit, even in the stateside, or if we're international. Each culture, they kind of season a little bit different. They use their meats and vegetables quite a bit differently. And some things are, very much as we would expect them here in the States. But sometimes it's just vastly different how they're using the flavors to marry together, and using less meat because we're really, really heavy meat here in the States. So just taking that back into our cooking and understanding if we are making a dish that is custom to a certain region, making sure that we are kind of spot on in the flavoring that we're adding. If we are creating, say, a seasoning that we're saying is similar to a certain culture, making sure that we are, paying homage to that culture, as well as just creating a well-balanced palette so that we can tell our food stories to the best of our ability. So when you think about Chicago and their deep dish pizza versus New York and their thinner pizza, when you think about New Orleans and how every other thing that you may get is going to be fire red hot, and incorporating those different essences into what you're cooking, or even to change the flavor profile in what it is that you're making. I think that for me, that is how I incorporate the local flavors into the dishes that we're preparing, or even the seasonings that we're creating.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've never really thought about it that way before. Like, start making that the baseline, and here we gonna grow from there. So then you're not even just recreating what somebody else has done. You're really putting your own spin on it, but starting off with that kind of baseline. That's kind of cool. I like that.
And sometimes you stumble upon things that are like something that you've had before. Like we'll taste something that's like, oh, it reminds me of such and such, and then one of us will like remember what those flavors are kind of incorporating in, a time when, or that time that we took that trip to a certain place. So that piece is kind of cool as well. Again, it's like telling a story through food, even if we aren't recording, like just the two of us. It tastes just like when we were at such and such. So that piece is definitely it's very, very creative. Very, very creative.
And I think us in particular, we're very influenced by the Cajun culture. Just because we love spicy food, we love the flavors of the Cajun Creole culture. So you'll see a bunch of that influence in our dishes usually.
Yeah.
But I mean, we love food from all over the world, but that's something we're like heavily influenced by just because we're in the South and we love spicy and we love New Orleans food as well. So. Well, yeah, that's what we got to do.
I don't know who it was that responded, but I remember I posted one day, like, what's some good spots in New Orleans? And one of y'all got on there was like, like a whole list of places. And I was like, yes, I'm printing this out. I'm taking it with.
Yeah, that was me. I was like, oh, New Orleans? If anything, I need to tell you where not to go because everywhere is good.
Back in June, you sailed the Carnival Conquest, and along with Siobhan and Kiki. Unfortunately, I was unable to make it, even though I tried to sneak on there, but I couldn't. So, what were your thoughts on the Carnival Conquest, on the overall food selections that they had there?
I can answer this one.
Can we curse? No.
Hey, we'll bleep you out. Go ahead.
So, like I said before, the food that comes with your purchase of your room, all of that was trash. The food that you pay for, 90% of it was good. So if you are sailing on the Carnival Conquest, you have to pay for your food. Just go ahead and put that in your budget to pay for the steakhouse, to pay for food tours and whatever. Because trust me, if you just eat in front of a buffet, you're gonna be very disappointed. And you're not going to say that I told you to eat that.
You sound like me.
Was that a catch me cheat code that I served?
Just a little triple C for y'all. Go ahead and budget on in.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to have to agree. The main dining and just regular food left a lot to be desired. But the food that we had on excursions, as well as the food that we booked for special dining, it was all very much on point. Complete different experience, just next level. So yeah, I was in general unhappy with the dining and how long we had to wait to get food that was not that good. And just regular, but the specialty dining, it did 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend the chef's table, unless you just really are you have certain, like I said, allergies, or you just are not adventurous at all with food.
That's true.
Then you probably shouldn't try it.
Yes.
But if you even in some way like a culinary experience, then I would highly recommend doing the chef's table. That was our first time doing anything like that. And it was really cool experience. The food, I mean, the flavors were cool, but if you're going for like an actual sit down meal, it's not that. It's very much like appetizers, a lot of appetizers.
Yeah.
It's like 13 courses, which was ridiculous.
Oh, wow.
But I would definitely recommend like opening your mind to other food possibilities, especially on the Conquest where your options are very limited.
But again, so like she said, if you are not an adventurous person, please do not waste your money, or do not waste your significant other's money, because you will not like it. It is different, and there are lots and lots to try, and they'll bring it out. And can you tell me one more time what this is? It's different, and you know, we watched the group that was there with us, and the folks that were at the table with us, and down on our end of the table, the folks who were not adventurous, like they hated everything.
Everything's like, okay, next.
If that's you and you know that you just like macaroni and cheese that Paula makes, and chicken nuggets and hamburgers, and you just like what you like.
I feel like you talking about my husband. I feel like that's why we haven't done it. I just feel like it's a waste of money. But you know, I wonder for you guys. I'm going to call you chefs because I feel like that's what you are to me compared to my cooking and yours. I feel like you guys are chefs. So I'm gonna say traveling with a chefs or a creative palate, does it make it hard to go on like cruises or different islands and resorts and just different places and try people's food and not criticize it or not just say, man, I know exactly what I could do to just turn this up one more time.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, there's no way that when you have a creative palate, like you can try something and not think about tweaking it. Sometimes we're just like, that was perfect.
Right. That was actually really good.
That was perfect. Can I get one more? But it also depends on what it's paired with though. So you know, if you got a good, nice looking little drink sitting there too,
right,
with the meal, and the meal is just man, but the drink is it makes it a little bit better, you know?
A little bit better about it.
Yeah, I would say we're definitely a lot more critical than the average person. There's definitely been times where it's like, oh, this is garbage, or like other people are like, oh, this is so great, and we're like, no, it's not. Or when people say, oh yeah, I can cook, and then they make something for you and you're like, oh no.
That was a lot.
So yeah, I mean, I think definitely more critical, but I mean, we're still always open. Like, we're not going to be like, oh no, I know you can't cook, so I'm not even gonna try nothing. Like, we'll definitely still try it. But our standards are very high.
And you know, there's nothing like good bar food and stuff like that as well. Yeah, and some good tater tots, and you know, we can get down with stuff like that too. So it's not all business professional.
Okay.
So speaking of business.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have a brand of Spice Addicts. If you can tell us about that and tell us what made you decide to start to try your own line of spices.
So we started Spice Addicts very early on, and I mean, I don't know where the idea really came from. I can only think it came from God, because we had did the seafood boil, and then we had did a crawfish boil. And after we did the crawfish boil, once I saw that Donovan doesn't like crawfish and he ate all the crawfish, I was like, oh, we got something here. We need to do something with this. And so from there, it was like, I think we can actually like package this up and like ship it to people. And so that's what we did. Not long after, it was like, okay, well, how can we do that? How can we make that work? And we started out with just a seafood boil and a garlic butter sauce. That was it. We only were doing seafood boils and then the garlic butter. And then from there, it kind of we just kept coming up with different seasonings that we liked, and just trying different things. We call it being in the lab. We'll get in the lab and just try different flavors. Or different things that we're looking for, like, oh, we need a good chicken seasoning. We need a good, like, fresh green seasoning. And so then we'll just get in there and try different flavors, try it on different meats or different vegetables and whatnot, and just hone in on what flavors it is that we're looking for and that we're missing in the market. And so it kind of just evolved from there.
And with our lab process, man, it's crazy because like nobody sees how many ideas never make it to market. Like sometimes we're just busy because we got a lot of different stuff going on at one time. But once we start down a path and we are intentional about, hey, we really would like to release this thing. Like so many ideas just get scrapped because we want to just purposefully release just dope products, great seasonings, great quality products that, you know, folks can use over and over and over again and rave about. And again, it's just remarkable to me the amount of things that we taste in his eyes, trash, throw it away.
And there's so many people who like ask us to make different things, like, oh, can you make this type of seasoning? Can you make that type of seasoning? And it's like, you don't understand. This takes months for us to come up with seasoning. We don't just get in there a week later and now we got a new seasoning. Like, it's not that simple. And we're very particular in our quality of our seasoning. So it's not as simple or quick as people think it is. But I think it's a good process to weed out all of those things that don't make sense for our business. But.
Well, whatever you're doing is working, because I just used my chicken addict seasoning right before we got on here. So I cook with my spice addicts all the time. Yes. And I love it. And the family loves it too. And the child loves it. So y'all know how kid, y'all got a son, you know, he's going to feel you when something ain't right. He loves it too.
Yes, love to hear it.
And I have a question on behalf of me and all the other people with all gluten allergies or food allergies or anything like that. So have you ever had to like cook for someone with any type of, you know, allergies or, you know, anything like that, or even vegan, vegetarian? If so, how do you navigate that, you know, changing up your recipes, or what do you do?
Copy. Really, really good question. So it depends on, you know, if we're catering or just cooking, having an event, what that thing might be, and what the allergy is. But I think the unique thing about like our channel and the way in which we create is that we spend so much time working to make things easier, or working to just cut out steps to try and find vegetables that are pre-chopped so that somebody doesn't have to chop a bell pepper or what have you. That we are fairly well equipped with working around whatever the issue may be or whatever the circumstance may be. So depending on what it is, then we can definitely pivot really, really quickly. The one that hurts us the most is if somebody has a seafood allergy, because we love seafood. That one's tough. But typically, even with seafood, though, you can find something that it is that they like. So maybe it's a shellfish allergy, and they can't eat some baked fish or fried fish or something like that. So you pivot. You just
have different options available. So like you said, you kind of have to see what the allergy is beforehand. But if we know beforehand, then we can make multiple options for that one thing. So maybe it's like a slider instead of doing bread. If you have a gluten allergy, maybe we could do a lettuce wrap or some other type of breading or gluten-free bread or whatnot. So just providing different options for people so that they have a wide variety of choices.
And we enjoy a good challenge as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would risk it with you, yes. Because honestly, like I said, when I was going through the channel, and especially like I love you know, garlic, you know, like garlic sauces, and I saw like your garlic butter, and I'm imagining, you know, what I could do with that. And then, you know, with my issue with the whole gluten, it's just, you know, wheat and, you know, bread, things like that. And I saw a lot of your food, even the pork chops, you know, there's gluten-free breadcrumbs, and I could imagine putting that in my air fryer. And I actually want to try that just to see how it's going to turn out. So, so that's what I mean. But, you know, but somebody like with a shrimp allergy, you know, what would you, what would you?
I feel like you're coming for me.
Well, shrimp allergy, you have to substitute out the shrimp.
I'll make it real easy for you. I substitute the shrimp for the scallops, and I'm good.
There you go.
Well, it's just shellfish then.
I There's a guy that works with me that is allergic to seafood, and we were talking one day, and he was saying how he had a boil that was like with chicken instead of like seafood, and I was like, first of all, I'm so sorry because I'm sorry for that allergy. Second of all, I'm so glad you have an option. But Lord have mercy, I would be lost if I could not eat seafood. Like lost.
Yeah, a lot of people with our garlic butter sauce, it's like, oh well, I don't eat seafood. Like, what am I supposed to do? But it's good on everything. Like, it's good on chicken, it's good on steak, it's good on turkey. Like,
For sure.
you can put it on anything. Vegetables, really good on vegetables.
Yep.
So there's definitely options. I think people really get stuck in, especially people who don't cook very often, they get stuck in that things have to be a certain way or that you have to use things in one particular way. And that's not the case at all. And that's what I love so much about cooking, is that you can just kind of put things together and put whatever flavors you like with those things, with the foods that you like, and it's going to be good. Like, so people, I think, get really pigeonholed into, food being a certain type of way and cooking a certain type of way and that type of thing. And that's what we're trying to change with our channel, is you can make these luxury meals at a fraction of the cost with a fraction of the ingredients, like, and it still tastes just as good, if not better.
And you can have fun while doing it.
Yep.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So what tips or advice would you give to someone who really doesn't cook often? Maybe they live alone and they're cooking for one, and they want to start cooking. So what kind of tips or advice would you give?
Watch our channel.
That part.
You gotta say it.
Just had to put that in there. But
So I think for somebody who is just starting out cooking, or just starting back to cook because they used to cook, maybe children are gone or whatever it may be, I think you got to start with what you like. That's the biggest tip. And sometimes it's figuring out what you like, and when we have to think about it, maybe we don't know, and it takes a bit. It's like, I don't know. But if we think through a person who doesn't cook, they are likely spending a lot of cash, using their card, that type thing on something. They're eating somehow. So if we focus on exactly how you're spending your money, in terms of, okay, is that Zaxby's? Is that Applebee's? Is that Cheddar's? What is that? What is it that you're eating? What are your staple foods? And then from there, we can kind of figure out, okay, what is it that you need to get you back into the kitchen? And in doing that exercise of looking at, okay, here's where all my money is going because I don't cook, you'll start to see, okay, I do need to incorporate some more home-cooked meals, some more home-cooked lunches, pre-made stuff, so that I can
learn to cook what you like first.
Yep.
And then I would say also get some type of cooking tool. So like the Instant Pot, an air fryer, like different little tools like that are like super easy to use and kind of cook for themselves. Where you can just throw it in the Instant Pot or whatever, put it on whatever setting, and then it's already made for you. So stuff like that, especially if you're just cooking for one person, or just learning how to cook or getting back into the kitchen. Like little cooking utensils like that is really, really easy way to make some meals at home. And we've made all kinds of stuff in the Instant Pot. So you can definitely go to our page, and we have a whole Instant Pot playlist of oxtails and seafood boils and all kinds of stuff that we've made in an Instant Pot in one pot. So I think that would be a good start, is to find what you like, what you spend most of your money on, learn how to make that first. And then you can also get some type of resource, such as like an Instant Pot, an air fryer, something where you can make meals very quickly and easily.
Okay, that's good advice. Good. Well, I didn't think about the gadget thing, but yeah, I use those things probably more than I actually turn on my stove. So
Right. Me too. Stove be real clean.
Right.
Everything else.
Air fry going right now. So,
And you save so much time, like, whereas you might spend 3-4 hours over a skillet, you can do it in like 40-50 minutes in a pressure cooker. So
While you're doing something else.
for sure, for
Right.
sure.
I have one more question related to travel, actually.
All right.
So, if you could share some tips for fellow travelers, because you guys seem to be really good at, finding where do I get good food. How do you already got a plan? I know that I'm going to find a steakhouse wherever we go, right? Like that's kind of a plan. Do you have any tips to share with people that want to experience good food when they're traveling? How do they navigate that, and how do they, look? How do you pre-research places to go before you get on the road? Do you kind of just wing it once you get there? Like any advice you can share for people to try to figure out what their food planning is for their travel experiences?
So we approach it different ways. I would say the easiest way is to find a food tour in that city or that place. And that will give you like a wide range of different foods or the staples from that place or that culture, that city. So that would be the easiest way to get the most variety for your buck. And then if there's something that you find that you like, or a place that you went to that you like, then you can go back and have an actual full meal, or, a sit down or whatnot at those places. But sometimes we also will do research like on YouTube or Google or whatnot, like what are some of the best restaurants in the city, or what are some of the staple foods of this culture, or, stuff like that. Or when you get to the place, ask the locals. So if you're at like a hotel, ask the front desk, what are some good places around here? What are some of the, local spots that people don't know about? Where can I get the most authentic food in the city? So you can ask them, you can ask your Uber drivers, whoever you come in contact with that is a local. Ask them some good food spots as well.
No, that last one was definitely a bar. You pick up so much by just having conversations. Like we have, just been in conversation with our Uber drivers or our taxi cab drivers from the airport, and they'll just like let you know everything that there is to know about the city. Hey, you guys should totally check out this, and you should totally do that. And even, in your own city, before you go to a place, there are sometimes people that their hometown is wherever it is that you're going. And then they'll really drop the dimes on you before you ever get there. You already have reservations made and everything. Yeah. So for sure, doing a food tour is a big one to get exposure to the culture, to the different foods and the different places that you can go back to. And then communicating and just chopping it up with folks who can tell you some of the best things in that city or that state, wherever it is that you are, especially if you have enough time, because a lot of the best places are typically booked up.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, some pre-research probably would be good too.
Yeah.
I think y'all convinced me to do a food tour for one of my excursions one day. I've never done one before.
Yeah, they're a great way to, and not even learn about food, but just learn about the place in general too, because there's a lot of like historic food tours. So it's like you're learning about the city and you're learning about food, and that's how I'm trying a bunch of different things to see what you like or what you might want to try later. So yeah, that's definitely, like, if nothing else, I would say just Google a food tour in that city, and that'll give you a easy way to find authentic food. And once you go on the tour, talk to the tour guide, then they would love to tell you every single thing about all of the food and every place you could possibly go and all of that stuff. They're very, very knowledgeable, and they love food, so they love to talk about it. So yeah, I think that's
triple C on that one, Kiki, because tour guides, if you're going to do the tour, do it early and then just chop it up with your tour guide, and they love to talk. They are going to tell you everything about everything. And especially if you do it early, you'll have enough time to try out some of those places that they're recommending.
Okay, listen, more time for more food. That's what I heard. More time for more food. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Back to you, Cheryl. What you got?
All right. I know we're running up on time, so I'm going to ask this quick question. I want to go back to when you talked about, you mentioned like when you're coming up with different flavors, you called it, what was it, the lab, the food lab?
Mhm.
Okay. So when you're in the lab and you're coming up with flavors, do you ever come across like a flavor that maybe one of you like and the other one doesn't? And what happens? Do you tweak it to where you both have to like it? Or, I mean, how do you?
Yeah, that's a good question. We say that like if we don't argue about it, it's not good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, like we every item that is like people would love, like our staple items, we have argued about.
Yeah.
So either one person didn't
Controversial.
want to do it, the other person wanted to do it. Like even like our garlic butter sauce, which is like one of our top selling items, Donovan did not want to do it. And I was like, no, we need some type of sauce or something to go with the seafood boil. And he was not having it. So I just started doing my own thing and making my own sauce. And then he tried it and he was like, oh, yeah, we can do this. So, yeah, but as far as like the actual like tasting it, for sure, I think we both have to like it before we'll put it out there. But as far as just like coming up with ideas, we argue all the time about different ideas. And at this point, we're like, if we don't argue about it, it's probably not good.
That's true. That's true. If it's not controversial in the house, then it's probably not even a good idea.
I like
But in
that.
terms of flavor, though, like everybody has to sign off, and we'll do very random stuff, especially when we're like hyper focused down the path. We'll get like at least 10 family members to do blind taste tests. And like then we'll put the data up in graphs. Just we get really nerdy about it.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's a lab.
wow.
Yes. They got focus groups. I like that.
Dang, if only y'all live closer to y'all. Like,
Right.
All right. Well, I will ask, do you have any exciting updates to share with our audience?
So I guess what we have coming up next, we are dropping videos 2 times a week because Q4 is huge for us. Obviously, with the holidays coming up, Thanksgiving, Christmas, people are obsessed with food. So we're definitely dropping content at least twice a week. We go live twice a month on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock Eastern time. We have an R&B night that we are doing for our members. And it's going to be really fun. It's our first time doing something like this. But we're going to be eating good, listening to good music, and just enjoying each other's company. And we're providing the grocery list, the ingredients, everything that you need in order to make it. And we're going to do a live cooking tutorial as well as listen to R&B music as we do it. So that's for members only. You can join our membership for as low as $1.99 a month, and that gets you into all of the fun things we have going on. We're always doing challenges. We're always doing fun events for our members. Our members get free seasonings every quarter. So you're always getting something new to try. Some of our new products that we have coming out will go to our members first. So definitely.
Speaking of new products, one of the things that we recently kind of developed is a travel pack. Want to tell them more about the travel pack?
Yeah, so our travel pack is a 2-pack seasoning, and it is, I think, 2.5 ounces each. But it comes in a little pack that you can put into your purse, into your luggage, just carry with you out the doors. Men can even put it in their pockets. It's so small. But when you are traveling and, you're tasting that food and you're like, this needs a little bit more seasoning. You can pull it out, put a little seasoning on there. Great for cruisers, great for airplanes. If you're on a plane. So that's one of our newest products that have come out that we're really excited about, and it's great for travelers as well. So our memberships, we definitely would say to join those. Those are the most bang for your buck on our channel, but we do drop content consistently. We have a blog now, so cookingwiththecatrons.com. So if there's any recipe that you see on our channel and you want it kind of formatted in an actual like recipe list, then you can go to our blog, and all of our videos are in blog form as well. And that'll give you, your grocery list and your ingredients and all of that type of stuff that you can just take a quick screenshot without having to go through the whole video in order to find what you need. So our blog, and then we also have Spice Addicts on there as well, so you can shop too. So we're using our chicken seasoning in this chicken dish. You can just click and it'll take you right to buy our seasoning. So the blog is a really good resource for more of Cooking with the Catrons. What else? We'll be doing a lot, y'all.
I can't say a thing.
But yeah, I think that's the biggest things we have going on.
That's what's up. Well, if you
and our new merch, we have a lot of new merch that has just come out. That you already know what to do, baby shirts. This one says applying pressure with the pressure cooker. We have our logo, our new Cooking with the Catrons logo. We have shirts and hats that say make food fun again. We have stickers,
aprons,
cups,
mugs,
aprons,
glasses, lots and lots and lots of merch, guys.
A bunch of new merch that just came out this month. So I think that's it.
That deserved a long exhale.
So if you're watching via YouTube, we will make sure that there is a link in the description so that you can get to cookingwiththecatrons.com and Spice Addicts. Everything that Stacey just laid out, we're gonna make sure y'all can get to it. That is awesome.
Go to the blog. If you go to the blog, make sure you go back to YouTube because you got to see the food. You got to see the food.
Yeah.
So you need to do both. You need to go to the blog, then you need to go back to YouTube and watch the video so you can see the food in action. Because it looks good. I can tell you, I don't see it.
I want to make the pork chops. I want to make the garlic shrimp. In whatever. There's a lot.
It's the prime time dip for me. Yeah, that prime time dip. I got it. I gotta have that.
We want to thank you so much for your time, and thank you for coming in and chatting with us. We really appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much for having us on, guys. We're very excited. We love all of your channels individually. And so this is a great opportunity for us. We're very honored and thankful for having us on tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And with that, I will turn it to Siobhan to tell us, hey, how can people reach out to us?
Well, if you have any questions or want to find out more about Cooking with the Catrons, please go over and find them on YouTube. Make sure you follow them on all their social media platforms and all the places that Stacey just laid out for us. If you want to connect with Cruz Kibitz, you can email us at cruzkibitz. It is Cruz, KIBITZ @gmail.com. You can also find us at cruzkibitz.com. You can find us on Instagram, and you can comment under this video. So you have many ways to get up with Cruz Kibitz.
All right, and with that, with Cruz Kibitz and Cooking with the Catrons, I think we should call this a podcast.
Hey. Do it. All right, guys. Well, happy cruising and happy eating.
Yes. Happy food, y'all.
Happy food, yes.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.